Hi, my name is Marty Richardson from ChefMartyRich.com. Welcome back to our Holiday Entertaining Tip Series. Today I want to talk about cooking roast beef. I have about five's always my favorite number, tips to cover today. First, you want to start up by buying the right piece of meat. Second, you want to sear the meat at a very high temperature. Third, you want to finish roasting at a low temperature. 4, you want to make sure that you know the internal temperature by measuring with a thermometer. And 5, rest your roast. Okay, starting with the right piece of meat. Rib roast, tenderloin, top loin roast, top sirloin, or a top round. Okay, almost forgot. So those are my top 5. When you're about an hour before you're ready to roast, take your roast out of the refrigerator and put it on the counter to let it come up to room temperature. This is going to make it cook more evenly and quicker as well. Season generously with salt and pepper. Because we're going to roast at a high temperature, make sure you do not use your garlic and your herbs straight away. You can put that on after we start lowering the temperature. Put a little grease in the bottom of your roasting pan so things don't stick to it like cement. And then put your roast in the roasting pan. Into the oven in the middle of the rack, in the middle rack at about 450 degrees for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Check after 10 minutes to make sure that it's not browning too quickly for you. Then after your 15 to 20 minutes of browning, you want to lower the temperature to 300 or 325 degrees. This is going to ensure that you have a greater yield because less moisture will be lost by roasting at a lower temperature. The next is your meat thermometer. Now there's a couple of different ways to measure the timing here. Generally, you're not going to find in a roasting recipe roast at this temperature for this many minutes because weight is not always a very good measure of cooking time. And I'll tell you why. This is a beef tenderloin. Now, if you were only cooking a tenderloin that was this large and it took 20 minutes, if you cooked another tenderloin this long, would it take 40 minutes? The answer is no. It has more to do with the mass than the weight. Now this is a quart-sized container. So something that size, like a beef tenderloin, is going to take 30 to 40 minutes. A top loin roast, which is more like this size, and this is a half gallon, that's going to take about 45 to 60 minutes. And a prime rib is more like a gallon-sized container. That's going to take 2 to 2.5 hours. So that's general, but you want to be specific. And to do that, you need a meat thermometer. Now, a probe thermometer is a really good idea. The probe goes into the roast, then you put the roast into the oven. It has a cord that comes out to a little microcomputer that sits on the counter. You dial in the temperature, internal temperature of the roast that you want, and when it's done, it beeps. I mean, how cool is that? I'm old school. I love my meat thermometer, my instant read thermometer. That's what I use. But make sure you have a thermometer of some kind. This is the star of your party, and you want to make sure that it's done right. Now, the last thing is rest your roast. All roast beef definitely benefits by resting on the counter. At least 15 minutes, up to 30. Don't worry, your meat is not going to get cold. All the juices are going to be retained so that when you slice it, it's nice and juicy. You're picking a very tender cut anyway. Perfect. That's the holiday, the equation for a perfect holiday roast. Okay, in my next video I'm going to talk about grading, and then we're going on to trimming and roasting roast beef. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you soon.